Yo, what is going on, guys? TymeStopper here, coming back at you with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Guys, in this video, we're going to talk about the what's next in Raid video. It looks like the leaks over the weekend have come to fruition, and we are in for a wild ride coming up. So let's jump into the video. Okay, guys, we're going to play this along. I'm not going to pretend that this is a first reaction because I've already watched this video, but I am going to pause it at a couple spots just to give you my take on some things and let you know things that I noticed in the video. I'm sure there's probably some super sleuths out there that caught stuff that I missed. You know, just what your overall impressions are. I want to give you what my ideas are, what I see from this, the good, the bad, and maybe even the ugly. So let's go ahead and start this up here real quick.
Hey everyone, welcome to our latest edition of What's Next in Raid, where we'll be talking all about what's coming next in Raid. We've got a whole lot to wriggle through today, so let's just slither right into it. First up, the Guardian Ring. Some of you may have already seen our other video dedicated entirely to the Guardian Ring, but if not, don't worry. We're going to coil our explanation up into a small ball of cold, hard facts. The Guardian Ring is primarily here to give everyone a way to use their duplicate champions. It'll be replacing the current sparring pit in your Bastion, but you won't be losing the sparring pit you know and love. It's just shedding its old skin and being upgraded with a bunch of new additions. The first new add-on is Faction Guardians, where you assign a special council of champions for each faction that gives champions of their respective rarity within that faction a global stats boost. You'll be able to assign Guardians for rare, epic, and legendary champions, and with this feature, you'll get to have your cake and eat it too, because you still get to keep your faction guardians and use them in battle. It's going to be a huge boost to.
Okay, so I want to stop it here. I want to talk about the first thing. We already knew that faction guardians were a thing, and we knew a little bit about them. One of the things that was kind of going around the community that we weren't sure on is this whole idea that you could use 3 in a slot, basically. And as you can see, I don't know if I can go slow enough for this, but as you can see on the video, as they click on one, the other ones lock, right? So for example,
Guardians and use.
He clicked on one of the faux bar, the bard, and you can see it locked all the other ones. So it looks like you are going to have to add these faction guardians in pairs. So for example, if you have 3 legendaries of a champion, 3 copies total, you're only going to be able to use 1 pair in the guardian set, basically, which we kind of had an idea, figured that was the case, but there was some speculation going around that you would be able to use partials. That's just not going to be the case, though.
It's going to be a huge boost to early and mid-game players who probably won't have any duplicate legendaries in their.
Also to note, you can see that the bonuses basically have been unchanged from the last time they talked about them. So these are most likely the bonuses that we are going to get. The 10% HP, 10% attack, 30 accuracy and resistance, 10 defense and 10 speed on the legendary ones, and then so on and so forth through the epic and rare. Since they didn't change it from the first video to the second, I would have to believe that that's what they're going to be at launch.
Collections, but will more than appreciate being able to strengthen their rares and epics to help them climb over some of those tougher raid hurdles. The stats boost itself is nothing to hiss at and will be approximately half as strong as the bonuses from a maxed out Great Hall. It'll give you a lot of freedom when it comes to tweaking and adjusting your champion builds and play styles, as well as your Great Hall upgrade strategy, now that you'll have an additional layer of boosts too on top. The other 2 additions are exclusively for duplicate legendary champions. First, you can.
Okay, so if you guys weren't paying attention over the weekend, there were some leaks that came out on Reddit about the empowerment system, and most of the content creators were under NDA. I'm not in the content creator program. I didn't put out a video on it because I don't really like putting out a lot of stuff that's speculative. I try to stick to stuff that I've seen that came from official sources or whatnot. So one of the things that came out were going to be some of the bonuses that you get from legendary champions when you do this empowerment. So you can see it live in the environment here, and it looks like the leaks were official. You know, a lot of people didn't want to talk about it and whatnot. They never denied any of it, so that led me to believe it was probably real. But you can see here what these bonuses are going to be like when they power up this molly, right? You can see that they're putting 1 molly in. They have their main one, and then they're going to put 4 others in here. And you can see down below the stat boost you're going to get, right? So by empowering one time, you're going to 10% more HP, 10% attack, 10% defense, 15 resist, 15 accuracy. It is important to note that you do permanently lose that champion, of course, so they're gone. But they said originally they weren't trying to make super champions, but I got to be honest, this looks like they're going to make some super champions when you look at the total bonuses.
Empower champions using their own duplicates or some surrogate.
So now we can see with 4 of these in here, we've got a 40% HP boost, 40% attack, 40% defense. Now, this is going to be to their base stats, right? So if a champion has 1,500 attack and we boost it by 40%, we're going to get an extra, 600 attack? That's pretty significant, right? An extra 15 speed doesn't sound crazy, but I mean, 15 speed is a lot. Plus, you got to remember you're going to get the boost from your faction guardians as well, plus some other stuff coming down the road later in the video. So some people are going to be zooming in Arena.
It's if you can't get more than one of that champion, like Lydia. Empowering will help you beef up your champions to make them extra tanky, extra killy, or extra whatever you've built them for. We don't want empowered legendaries to become unbeatable demigods, so we're capping empowerment. You'll only be able to.
It is also important to note, it looks like you will be able to see them, like up here on the Molly right here, you can see that it says +4. So I'm hoping you'll be able to see that when you go into Arena as well.
Empower a champion up to 4 times. Last on this list, but certainly not least, champion Unbinding. If you're sure you have no use for a duplicate legendary champion, you'll be able to permanently release them from your service.
Now, this is pretty interesting, right? So originally they told us in the original video that some champions would be worth more than others, basically, is how they put it. So one of the things to note is they're crunching a Skullard Vargal here and getting 500 life tokens. We originally thought that it would be like 1 life token per champion. But this is interesting because this allows them to assign different values to different ones that you are going to turn into tokens. So while Skullard Vargal might only be worth 500 life tokens, maybe a stronger legendary is worth more life tokens, or maybe there's ones that are worth less. So that's kind of an interesting idea when you see how many life tokens it's going to cost in order to get some of the champions.
In exchange for a life token. You'll then be able to take those life tokens and trade them for a new legendary champion at the token trader. We'll be adding a bunch of special champions to the token trader.
So here is where you can see how much they're going to cost, right? So based off of Skullard Vargal cost giving you 500 life tokens, it would take 5 of him to give you a Manaya, or what is that, 8 of him to give you a Sir Nick. But that is based on it being worth 500. What if you crunch a Sir Nick? Does that then give you 1,000? What do they value Skullard Vargal at? You know, where does he fall in their measuring stick, I guess, right? Because clearly they think Manaya is a weaker champion than Tomb Lord. So with that theory, wouldn't then one that you crunch be worth less as well? Yeah, maybe it takes 5 Skullard Vargals and 8 Sir Nicks, but what if you crunch a Sir Nick? Does it only take 2 Sir Nicks to get a Manaya then, basically? So we'll have to wait and see, because they don't really give us a whole lot of info on that.
Trader over time, including some that were available via fusion events in the past. So expect to see Molly Tankard, Manaya, Fushan, and the new and improved Tomb Lord in the near future. In fact, community favorite Sir Nicholas will be coming to town very soon, so you'll be able to hand out some gifts of festive fury to some very unlucky boys and girls. All right, that's the big update squirming.
Okay, so they clearly say that's the big update squirming its way in. So that leads me to believe this is the only stuff we are getting with the next patch. All of this other stuff we're going to learn about is going to be later down the road. How much later? Who knows? They've already told us that the Tavern update was not scheduled until the first half of next year, even though some of the stuff in it does look pretty cool that they're going to talk about. I wouldn't get too excited about it. It looks like we're probably just getting the dupe system in this next patch.
Its way in game very soon, but that's not all. Let's take a quick fire.
And we also know historically the What's Next in Raid videos have shown us what's coming for kind of like a longer period out, right? Not instantaneously stuff coming now, but stuff that will be coming.
Look at a bunch of other updates we're bringing to Raid soon. First, the Shadowkin are getting their own faction crypt. It means more milestone rewards, but you'll still have to finish every crypt if you want Lydia. So if you're close to finishing already, you might want to finish the job before you have another crypt to complete. Second, we're renovating the Tavern. We're adding a filter that only shows champions that are eligible for each type of upgrade, as well as the ability to change the sorting orders from ascending to descending. XP brews will also be grouped together in a single slot to make things quicker and easier to manage, and we're also adding a slider to make it even easier to beef up your champions in one go.
So these Tavern improvements so far, excellent looking, right? Basically being able to remove champions that you can't upgrade or whatever, brews being all together in one, being able to use a slider to pump multiple brews in at once, all very, very good updates.
Third, we're adding rank and rarity filters to the artifact storage, as well as making it possible to select all the artifacts you've filtered for with one tap, so you can sell your gear in bulk.
Rank and rarity filter, I know a lot of you guys have asked for this, and this is going to be great for gear cleansing. You can go through, see what is what rarity or what rank. You can rank it by star. You can see just the 3-star or the 4-stars. You can just go through and sell it all if you want to, or just specific rarities or whatnot. Excellent addition.
Fourth, and my personal favorite, changes to save teams and skill instructions. We're increasing the number of save teams to 15, and we'll be dividing them up by game mode, so you have
extra
15
save
for
teams,
each mode.
excellent as well.
We're also making it possible to create farming setups that you can run in multi-battle mode, along with being able to set different skill instructions for each round of a battle separately. Alongside these changes, we're exploring some options for how to make it quicker and easier for everyone to speed things up throughout the game, starting with Faction Wars and the Doom Tower. We're going to be kicking things off by enabling super raids for Doom Tower boss fights. And to keep things fresh in battles, we're also adding a new buff and debuff pair that increases or decreases resistance in battle. Being able to have an enemy's resistance is no joke.
Being able to have the resistance of your enemies. If you thought that the resistance meta was dead before, it's definitely dead now.
And we think these effects will add a new layer of strategy to raids battles across the board, including introducing completely new team compositions and archetypes. And since we're on the subject of new team compositions, the best thing for that is new champions. A bit of a tradition here on our What's Next series. What you're looking at now is a first sneak peek into the next line of dungeon delving. Boss-beating badasses coming to Teleria in the near future.
So this is a great idea. Some additional boss beating champions, kind of like Ninja is kind of like a boss specialist, if you will. He has extra skills that hurt specific bosses and whatnot. So this is a great idea right here.
Okay, that's all we've got for you. Oh, wait, one last thing. The Hydra. You might have already seen a few leaks from Raid's sleuth-like detective community about the Hydra already, but if you haven't, here's a full breakdown of what will be Raid's toughest, scariest, and biggest boss fight. The Hydra is our second clan boss, in addition to the Demon Lord you're all well acquainted with. However, it's a bit different than just fighting one boss. You all know the old commonly used adages, 4 heads are better than 1, 4 snakes in the hand are worth 12 in the bush, the more serpents the better. Well,
real quick to note here before they go into the Hydra, you'll notice that this left half of the map is red, where it has the regular clan boss. This part of the map is green, where it has the Hydra. And there is a whole nother section over here that's purple for maybe a future type of clan boss.
Well, they're all true in Raid World too. This unkillable beast will be bringing 4 heads to every fight, each with totally unique skills and mechanics to deal with. Actually, it'll be bringing 6 heads, but you'll only have to deal with 4 at any one time. We'll get into that a bit later, but first, let's break down the basics. It's a big fight, and you'll need reinforcements, so you'll be taking 6 champions into each Hydra battle. And just like the other clan bosses, the Demon Lord, you'll be battling the Hydra to chase high scores and win huge rewards. You'll be fighting to stay alive as long as possible and deal as much damage as you can along the way. However, unlike the Demon Lord, the Hydra will be running on a different cycle. While the Demon Lord resets every single day, the Hydra will reset once a week. On top of that, you'll only get 3 Hydra keys per week, so you and your clan will have more flexibility to figure out when you want to take the Hydra on. So, the Hydra will reset every week, and things will stay pretty much the same week to week. You'll fight the same Hydra with a mixture of those same heads. Each head will be tied to a certain affinity, so you'll be able to figure out a good strategy over time to deal with the current challenge. Predictable, easy, right? But here's the twist. Every 4 weeks, a new rotation will start. This means, just like the Doom Tower, shuffling the pack. Each head will be paired with a new affinity, and the 4 starting heads you have to deal with will change. And in the future, when we add more heads, it'll mean entirely new combinations of 6 heads and a whole new challenge.
Okay, so a couple things to note here, right? Obviously, they said it's going to rotate on a weekly basis. You'll have a week's worth of keys. You're only going to get 3 keys. And during a cycle, like the Doom Tower, you'll fight the same Hydra. But they also said that they will be adding additional heads. So we know of 6 heads for the Hydra so far, and it looks like they're going to be adding additional ones. So that should be pretty interesting because the mechanics of these are already pretty nutty on what all each one of the heads can do, and just the sheer scope of the different things that you have to manage with this. Keep in mind, you're adding an additional champion into the mix that you have to play with. So that's already going to add so many complexities to it. It's not even funny. But these heads do so many different things. This is definitely going to be a difficult battle.
To make things even tougher, once you've used a champion in a Hydra battle, you won't be able to use them again until after the next weekly reset. So looking to lock in a single gimmicky team is off the table here.
Oh, yeah. And if you get 3 keys, but you can't use the same champions, that means you need 18 potential champions that you're going to fight with each week to go against the Hydra.
Going to need 3 unique teams that can stand up to the challenge to get the most out of the Hydra. Then, every month.
But I guess the question, though, is what about dupes? So is that champion locked? Like that individual champion, or is that champion overall locked? So if I use Arbiter, but I have a dupe Arbiter, can I use the dupe Arbiter the next time, or are all Arbiters locked?
Re-examine your strategy.
Can we see that in the screenshot? I don't think so, because they didn't use any. Can't use this champion twice. Let's try to watch this again. They don't show dupes at all, do they?
The Hydra battle?
No.
You won't be able to use them again until after the next weekly reset. So looking to lock in a single gimmicky team is off the table here. You're going to need 3 unique teams that can stand up to the challenge to get the most out of the Hydra. Then, every month, re-examine your strategy.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
Because the script may very well have been flipped. Because each head is so unique, you won't be able to use the same tricks every time. We're not going to cover each head's skills right now, but here's a quick snapshot of the 6 heads you'll be fighting against in the first rotation of the Hydra. The head of Torment, the head of Decay, the head of Wrath, the head of Blight, the head of Suffering, and my personal favorite, the head of Mischief. If those names alone don't sound scary enough, wait until you see them in battle. Things get real crazy. You'll be fighting 4 of these heads at the same time, and you'll be fighting hard to stay alive and deal out as much pain as possible. You'll want to cut off the Hydra's heads to maximize your damage, but cutting off a head doesn't mean you only have to fight against 3 heads. Remember how we said the Hydra brings 6 heads? Well, if you do manage to decapitate a head, another will grow back. You cut off the head of Blight, and it might come back with a vengeance, or it might be replaced by the head of Decay or head of Torment, whichever the 5th and 6th heads are in the current rotation. So, endless pain for your team. But don't worry, you have 6 champions, and it only has 4 heads. You have the numbers advantage. It's going to be like shooting snakes in a barrel. Not exactly. This beast has another trick up its sleeve. It's also going to be trying to eat you. Every so often, one of your champions will get eaten by one of the heads. Now, just like in real life, these Hydras have long necks and stomachs in their necks. So you have a few turns to chop off that Hydra's head before it fully digests and consumes your champion. If you slice the head off, you free your champion and they're back in battle. If you don't, they're dead and gone. And we really mean gone. You won't be able to revive them, and you'll have 1 champion missing for the rest of the fight.
This is interesting. So if they take one of your champions and you don't hit the head off, you're going to be down a champion. That basically means that at the higher levels, I don't know how you would ever make this an auto fight. there's clearly going to be easy, normal, hard, just like the regular clan boss. But at the higher levels, how do you audit that? Like, how do you prepare for that? Even with 6 champions against 4 heads, you're not fighting one enemy at a time. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see, can you even auto these fights? Because if not, it's going to make for a very lengthy game. I guess it's a good thing you can only fight it 3 times a week.
Sounds like a tough battle, and it is, but the rewards are more than worth it. To recap, you fight the Hydra just like you fight the clan boss. Higher scores, better rewards. Rewards will be earned in the form of Hydra chests, given out at the week.
Because you can see here, there's easy, normal, hard, brutal, just like a normal one, right?
Weekly reset. And better yet, if your clan manages to fully deplete the Hydra's HP, you get double the rewards. Let's talk about what those rewards are.
So just like with Clan Boss.
Obvious things like Clan Gold, Clan XP, there are some serious rewards on offer. First, you'll be able to win fragments for an exclusive champion, Mithrala Lifebane. We're already taking huge inspiration from Greek mythos here, and Mithrala fits into that perfectly. We'll be releasing a dedicated champion spotlight for Mithrala soon, but as you'd expect from someone that looks like Medusa's long-lost sister, she's going to be able to poison people. Oh, and turn people to stone. That's a thing now too. It's a really scary debuff that can take people out of the fight entirely, with a downside or two. We'll cover it in greater detail soon, but let's just say in the right hands, with the strategy, it's going to be a game changer. That reward's simple. New champions are never a bad thing, but what about unique rewards or new mechanics? Oh, I'm glad you asked. You'll also be able to win a whole new type of artifact from Hydra chests. We're not talking just a new buff or boosted stats, but an entirely new breed of artifacts that give you set bonuses depending on how many you have equipped.
These look
Special
awesome.
variable artifacts will give you an extra bonus with only one of their kind equipped. Then another bonus if you equip 2, 3, 4, or even a full 6 of them. These are unlike any other artifact sets in Raid and will open up huge possibilities in terms of artifact combos and builds. Right off the bat, we'll have 2 of these special variable artifact sets. Set 1, Stone Skin. Equipping a single artifact from this set will give your champion a modest but useful 8% HP boost. Equip 2, and you also get an extra 40 resistance on top. But equip 4, and you'll get access to an entirely new defensive buff called Stone Skin, which you'll get for 1 turn at the start of the round. Stone Skin will mean your champion takes almost no damage from enemy attacks, and makes your champion immune to all debuffs except for bombs. In fact, bombs will actually do more damage as they can shatter your champion, but it's still a great trade-off for all the benefits of Stone Skin. That's if you equip 4, but equip 6 and you get 2 turns of Stone Skin, plus a boatload more stat boosts. The next set's called a protection set, and it works the same way. Equip 1, 2, or 3 artifacts and get extra stats, but at 4, the set has a chance to protect any buff the wearer casts or receives. Protected buffs can't be removed or stolen, so this set is sure to be invaluable to any champion whose buffs are the bedrock of your team. Just like the Stone Skin set, this becomes even more powerful at 6 pieces. The protection chance.
So something to note here is these bonuses are also on top of the Faction Guardian bonuses and the empowerment bonuses. So when you stack all of this up, these bonuses are going to start getting pretty nutty.
Increases, plus you have the benefits of all the other stat boosts along the way. If the special mechanics alone weren't enough for you to want those sets, how about raw power and strength alone? Stone Skin and protection artifacts will be available in an entirely new rarity, mythical. Mythical artifacts are a step up from legendary artifacts in strength, and you won't be able to find these anywhere else. Mythical artifacts start with all 4 substats unlocked, but one of the substats will be increased to the equivalent of a level 4 legendary artifact, meaning you'll be able to eke out a little bit more power from mythical artifacts than legendary ones.
So basically, the red one is going to have a substat that is already increased. So for example, this mythical weapon started at an additional 6 speed. So every artifact will have an opportunity to get an extra substat. So for speed, for example, if you add an extra 6 speed times 4 items, 5 items, you would be able to get an extra 30 speed in theory. Now, granted, you're going to have to, one, not only get these items, two, want to equip them, because the speeds on these are not the same as, like, for example, a speed set, right? I can equip 3 speed sets with an additional speed bonus on 3 sets, but I can't do that with these. I'm only getting the 24% speed or whatever it showed from having 6 of them equipped. So that extra speed on there basically just brings it up to that. But it's going to be a nightmare to roll, because now not only do you have to get good stats, you have to get the good mythical stat, and you have to roll it. So I have to get a weapon that has speed on it, speed be the mythical stat, and then roll speed to a quad. So it's going to be a while before people have like super OP gear, especially because the only way to even get these is to fight the Hydra, and you're only fighting it 3 times in a weekly time period, right? So it's going to be a while before people have all of these unlocked, if you will.
Or a legendary artifact, meaning you'll be able to eke out a little bit more power from mythical artifacts than legendary ones. It's a small edge, but at the highest level, those small margins make a big difference. As you can probably tell, these artifacts will be incredibly versatile and useful pretty much anywhere, no matter whether you're focusing on PvP or PvE. The Hydra is a huge update, and we'll be gradually adding more content to it over time, with awesome new rewards and terrifying new heads. And we're super excited to see what you guys think of it. And that's it. Whew, that's a lot. We hope you enjoyed our latest preview video. Don't forget to like it.
Well, so that is a ton of information. Now, clearly, like I said before, a lot of the stuff when it comes to the Hydra and whatnot is forward-looking stuff. We know the Tavern isn't supposed to happen until the beginning of next year, 2022. We probably will only get the champion duplicate system in the next update. I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But what do you guys think? So much information in this video to digest. I don't even know where to start. Obviously, some quick thoughts on it. A lot of it looks pretty cool. I am a little concerned about the champion empowerment stuff, but the truth is, I think that's only going to affect us at the very highest level. I'll probably put out another video talking a little bit more about champion empowerment and how I think it's going to affect the game overall. But guys, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you like these updates? Are you excited for them? What are you worried about? What do you like the most? The Hydra looks awesome. New gear sets look awesome. How long do we have to wait for it? I guess we'll have to wait and find out. But guys, I do want to thank you guys so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, make sure to like and subscribe. And of course, as always, until next time, be good.